When you want to eat your feelings, what's the dish that holds you together? For me, it's this, because this tastes how comfort feels. Today I'm making a mac and cheese that I've leaned on for years. Rich, familiar, and ridiculously delicious. This is absolutely not a health food, but it's still much better for me than the classic alternative. We're gonna be building the base, layering the flavors and textures, and I'll show you a topping I make that throws it over the top. Deeply satisfying, dairy-free mac and cheese anytime you want to make it. I'm gonna start by showing how to make the base, because that's what's gonna tie this whole thing together. Just gonna get that on a medium high heat, and I'm gonna be using half a cup, 1 whole stick of non-dairy, plant-based butter. I'm gonna wanna melt this down entirely before the next step. Once that is melted down, I'm gonna add half a cup of flour. This is an organic all-purpose flour, and we're gonna start to make the roux. Now I'm just gonna stir that in there to make sure that the flour is getting all incorporated in with the butter. The most important step here is just to cook out the flour. We don't want that flour taste, and we wanna make sure that there's no lumps. So I might lower this heat a little bit because this tends to run high. Just cook it like this for a couple minutes, making sure to stir it. Keep it off the edges so it doesn't burn. And I don't want this to turn too much color, so we're not browning it. We're not making a gravy or anything. We're gonna be making a cheese sauce. Start adding slowly, just a little bit of liquid at a time. This is a non-dairy milk, and I'm using an oat milk today. And you could use any kind that you like. And every time it starts to come together and get thick, I just add a little bit more and bring up the heat. So it's important to add it in stages because it prevents the clumping and the lumping, and it just mixes in easier as you build it instead of adding it all at once. And as soon as you see it start getting nice and silky folds in there, I'll just add a little bit more. So this is a total of 4 cups, and I am going to make quite a bit here. One, I can freeze some if I want to. I'm gonna be cooking my neighbors some food. It is Thursday. It happens to be one of those national holidays. And today, this is what I'm doing for it. So while this is coming up to a heat, to a slow simmering boil, I still have a little bit of the plant milk left. I'm gonna use about, I would say it'll be like 1 teaspoon. Now if you had powdered white pepper, I might add half a teaspoon if you have that, but I do not. And I'm just gonna grind that white pepper. I'm just gonna add this. So I'm just gonna stir that in. As it heats up, it'll start to thicken more and more. All right, it's magic. Some water boiling here for the pasta that we're gonna use. And I'm just continually stirring this. You can see how thick it's getting. So as that thickens, I'm gonna add the rest of the plant-based milk. So we had 4 cups total, and I'm just gonna continually cooking this out. On this side, I have some boiling water. I'm gonna use some of this fancy organic, it's like a thinner rigatoni, with a little bit of salt. I do not add oil to my pasta water, but it doesn't really help anything. It's not preventing things from sticking, that's for sure. And as that's cooking, now you wanna taste this. It's really good to taste things as it goes, so you know what's coming up. It tastes delicious. It's just a very simple, plain white sauce. Now to add some flavor, this is veggie bouillon. So this is the Knorr brand. And I'm just gonna add about 1 tablespoon. And that's gonna give it some nice flavor rather than just adding salt. I wanna add a little bit more flavor into that. And it'll also help with the color a little bit. And I keep playing with the heat. If I think it's too low, I'll turn it up a little bit. If I think it's too high, I'll just lower it a little bit. I don't want to burn it, I just want to cook it. And I want to make sure I'm continually moving it so there's no parts that are going to burn on the bottom of the pan. I want to taste that. Yeah, a little bit of bouillon really does help. I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. That extra protein and B12. So a lot of people ask me where I get the nutritional yeast because I have a big, huge jar of it over there. And I buy mine online. You guys, I just order bulk organic nutritional yeast. It's so much less expensive when you get it online and in bulk. So buy 2-pound containers, and I go through quite a bit of it. I like to have that on hand. It's just easy. Another great thing when you buy it bulk, all those seasonings that you can make, and I have 8 of them in total that I've made in previous videos. I'll link the videos below, but are great gifts. I'm gonna lower that heat a little bit now again. So now it's more of a medium low, and you can see those bubbles. So now I'm gonna add 2 200-gram packages of non-dairy cheese, and I'm just gonna add this right to it. This is a very basic recipe, and it doesn't take long to bring it all together. And I'm gonna wanna mix that in. And if you think it's getting too thick, which I believe this is super thick, and it's just gonna get thicker now with that cheese. Look at how thick that is, it's amazing. I like doing the pasta at the same time because if you feel like it needs it, I do want it a little bit thinner because this particular recipe, I'm going to bake it, and we're gonna add a little bit of a crust crumb topping that I like to make for it when I'm feeling in the mood. But you can see how silky smooth that's looking. Super good. I might even add one more. So this is a 6-ounce ladle. So this is gonna be 12 ounces more of water. How lovely that is coming together. For a little bit more flavor in the cheese sauce, I'm gonna add just a pinch of smoked paprika, maybe half a teaspoon. And then also some granulated garlic, just to bump up that flavor a bit. And I'm gonna add probably a teaspoon and whisk that in. Now that's really gonna elevate the flavor. Now you do not need to add all kinds of crazy misos and lemon. I just don't have those ingredients neither. I don't always use them and I don't always buy them. So to keep it super simple, you have the non-dairy butter, non-dairy milk, some flour, and a couple packages of the non-dairy cheese. And you can make this amazing cheese sauce. And it comes together, it's like 5 minutes. It does not take long. And the pasta, I do not want to cook it completely all the way. I want to leave it a little bit less than al dente because I'm going to be baking it. And this is a super, super low heat just to keep it going. Now this makes a really good amount. You could do a you could do a broccoli au gratin, you could do cauliflower broccoli au gratin, you could do a green bean casserole with cheese sauce instead of cream of mushroom soup. Anything you want cheese sauce with or for. You could add cumin, some coriander seeds, some smoked paprika, make a nice Mexican style sauce for nachos. Super easy. Gonna set this right to the side here. Take the pasta. I'm gonna save a little bit of this water. Not too much, but I do want to do one more thing for the topping to save me a step. I'm just gonna put the strainer on top of the pot. I'm gonna add some of this boiling water to it. Dump out its water. I'm gonna carefully take this pot of hot water from the pasta. Crank that up. Just keep it boiling on a low simmer. I have some chickpea tempeh that I want to use. And so I'm just going to add this crumbles right into this water. So what this is going to do is hydrate it a little bit more, take away some of that bitterness that some people complain about with tempeh. By the hydrating, I just want to make it a little bit softer. It's still going to have that lovely texture that I do like, a little bit of chew to it. And I'm gonna add this. This is gonna be part of the topping along with a few other things. Bring that to a boil and then shut it off. It doesn't take long to soften it up and make it better like this. I think it just tastes better this way. Some people don't do this part, and it's okay if you don't. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm just gonna shut that door. Oh, you crap head. Make sure you hold on to your stuff. Yeah, this is why I wear an apron. Yum. So I have this pasta. I'm just gonna add it right to. I'm also gonna take the tempeh and strain it out in that same strainer. Stir that, make sure everything's coated. Beautiful. Fire up the oven. I'm gonna preheat it to 350 convection. So while that is going, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to the base. Now this is just for me to coat, so nothing is gonna stick to the sides, help with cleanup later. You do not have to do it. It's an extra step, but if you want an easier cleanup, and then with the pasta, make sure you get all that sauce out. Yes, you could totally just eat it just like this. It doesn't need to have anything else. This is ready to go, and it's delicious. Yum. This is where I'm gonna use and make the topping that's gonna make this over the top elevated. I'm gonna set these aside. This is a larger cast iron pan, 12 inches. You could use the same pan we'd cook the cheese sauce in if you want. I just like to use the cast iron pan for almost everything. And I'm gonna get that onto a medium low. So I'm gonna get 1 onion, peeled, diced. I'm gonna be using some plant-based sausage meat, and this, it's the Impossible brand. So it's just one of those chubs. It's a 7-ounce container. I'm gonna add this right to the pan, and I'm gonna just spread it out on there. Now I said this wasn't gonna be healthy, but I know damn well it's gonna taste delicious. Now that oven's heated up, so I just wanna give this a quick sear, render the fat that's in the plant-based sausage already. I'm gonna season it. I'm gonna use about a little bit of smoked paprika, maybe half a teaspoon. I'm gonna use, because it's Thursday and autumn and one of those famous holidays, I'm gonna use probably a tablespoon of sage, teaspoon of onion granulated, garlic granulated, and then I'm gonna also add probably 3/4 of a teaspoon of poultry seasoning, which is just a blend of sage, thyme, onion, garlic, rosemary. I want that fall, autumn flavors. Now I'm just gonna cook this down. It's on a relatively medium-high heat. So as this is cooking, to stretch it out, I'm gonna also use that tempeh, that chickpea tempeh right on here. You could totally do it with just the tempeh, if that's what you want. You could also do it with tofu. You could do many different things, but this is the recipe that I'm doing right now. But I like the mixture of different textures that we're gonna have. We're gonna have that creamy, delicious mac and cheese, super decadent on its own, and then just to add these layers and toppings of textures and flavors. I don't wanna just have a humdrum ordinary meal. I'm gonna have like an over-the-top, extraordinary dining experience today. I'm just gonna cook that for probably about 3 or 4 more minutes, and then we'll finish this section up. All right, so this is coming to a close here. Just gonna shut this heat off. So I'm gonna take a bowl, all this out and into the bowl. Scrape off whatever's on the pan. Set this over here. And I take the pan, but I did a quick scrub on that. A little bit of paper towels, some oil. There's a little bit of water in there, but that's okay. The oil beats the water. So I'm gonna run that around, rub it around. Ready for the next time. Okay, getting hot. So we have the sausage mixture. This is 2 cups of panko, breaded panko. Sorry, this isn't a gluten-free recipe, but you can make it gluten-free. So I'm just gonna add these breadcrumbs, and this is gonna help soak up the fat. Give it a little bit more texture, but soak up all those juices. I have some fresh parsley here, top of 1 bunch, right there. I'm just gonna pick out any lumber, any sticks that I don't wanna be chewing on that are too big, too thick, and this doesn't look too bad. There's a couple here. I just do this quick, just give it a once over. That's good enough. So just that little bit of waste. And then I take this, scrunch it up, give it a quick dice. Then I'm just gonna add that right to it. Now I'm just gonna mix that up. Take these babies. And then on the bottom, I have some extra vegan cheese. I bought multiple kinds of the shreds. Whatever kind you can find available, use. And I'm sticking with more of the cheddar style flavors. I might not have to use all this, but I'm gonna add 1 layer on top. I mean, maybe I will just use all of it, might as well. And I'm gonna do a healthy amount. This is where I am gonna cover this, both of them. I might have this little extra. So I'm just gonna spread this out. They're filled. I'm gonna add them both to this, and then they're both going in the oven. And I will roast these, bake these. 25 minutes on the clock. Awesome. All right, looks fantastic, smells delicious. Napkin. This is delicious. Wow, so good. Rich and creamy and just, man, it's just, it's fantastic. And a little bit of that sausage crumble and the tempeh, you can get the different textures and the twang and the zing and the fresh pop from the parsley and a little hint of the white pepper. Try a piece, pasta? Good girl. If you like this recipe, check out these recipes right here. I got tons of these budget-friendly ones that are super decadent, super delicious. And Miss America is in all of them. I love you, baby. Oh, I love you. Oh. See you guys soon. Is that good, Franks? Is that good?